Look who was fucking right, baby!
Alright, so for context, in case you don't want to go watch my last dozen videos, long story short, I was having PC issues out of nowhere with my PC. It first started about a month ago where my PC would just randomly restart, and then it wouldn't work with 2 RAM sticks. But I was able to get it to work as normal with only 1 RAM stick in, right? I did a bunch of troubleshooting, I bought new RAM sets, and all the other stuff, and it wouldn't work. So, went ahead, contacted Gigabyte because my motherboard was the X870E Aurorus Pro Ice motherboard. And I'm like, hey, it's not working. I explained the whole thing. I sent it into them RMA, right? 3 weeks later, I get it back, and they're like, hey, we found nothing, right? We found nothing, or whatever. But they didn't tell me that yet. So I get it back thinking, oh, they must have fixed it. I plug it into my PC, same issues are happening. And the issue that was happening when I had 2 RAM sticks in is all the RGB on the motherboard, the RAM, the keyboard, and even the screen. The logo that, like, say you're powering on the PC for the first time or you're restarting it, and you'd hit delete to go into BIOS, that, like, their logo screen, like Aurorus, the fucking eagle. That would flash on for a second and flash back off for a few seconds. Flash back on. Didn't matter how long I had the PC on, how many times I reset it, reslotted shit. It just kept doing that. So that kept happening. I was like, great. I'm going to have to call them again, right? And so I reboot it with only 1 RAM stick in this time. And it doesn't boot at all. It won't go into BIOS. It won't do nothing. So I call them back. I'm like, yo, right? That fucking asshole, dude. The RMA customer support dude I spoke with from Gigabyte that day was so rude. He was like, no, you're wrong. We're right. We just did the RMA. We just verified it's all good for us. You're wrong. And they kicked me to technical support. I troubleshoot with technical support, and for about 45 minutes, and he's like, listen, man, I believe it's your CPU. From what I'm looking at the RMA and what you're telling me, all the things we've tried, I think it's your CPU. So they got to my head. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe it is my CPU. But instead of going out and shipping my AMD CPU back out for an RMA and my PC being down another few weeks because I'm a college student and I really need my computer, I was like, you know what? Let me go on Amazon.
This was the first motherboard I bought for this build, but ended up swapping it out for the Aurorus one because, look, this is all white. Like, all the nice accents on it are white in comparison to this one where they're black. So I just swapped it out for an aesthetic thing. But I went on Amazon, found this, and said it will be delivered tomorrow.
So tomorrow came today, and I was like, I'm going to swap out the motherboards, and that is going to tell me, hey, is it a CPU issue or is it a motherboard issue? Because I'm convinced it's a motherboard issue, but they got me thinking, hey, maybe it's CPU, right? So I plug it in. Lo and behold, what logo?
Oh, is that ASUS? Oh, is my PC working now?
So I call them back, right? And that guy goes, oh, hey, here's the screenshots from the RMA of it working. And this is where I caught them. And this is on recording. I'm going to call them out on it next time because I'm about to RMA this again. The RMA screen they showed me was an old the BIOS screen they showed me from the RMA photos was an old BIOS screen. So, this motherboard, there's 2 revisions for it. There's revision like 1.0 and 1.1. This is motherboard 1.1. And the latest BIOS update that came out was FA6D. And the old BIOS had like orange and white on it, and the new BIOS, completely different look. It had like blues and purples in it, just like a completely different updated BIOS look to it. I was like, hey, so when you guys get motherboards in for RMA, do you reset the BIOS? Because that's not the same screen. He's like, what? I was like, the motherboard is revision 1.1. The latest BIOS update for that is FA6D. That is not the same BIOS screen for FA6D on my motherboard, which I know it had on it when I sent it to you guys. He was like, oh, so I'm like, so did they get like screenshots mixed up, my motherboard mixed up with someone else's motherboard? Because that wasn't my fucking motherboard BIOS screen. And so I called him out on it. And he ended up and started and submitted another RMA request for me. And here's my concern, right? This motherboard came back in worse condition than when I sent it to them.
When I first got it, there was a dried soda stand right here. See this back plate? That wasn't like that. If I shine the light on this, you'll see like a bunch of like scratches on plastic. And there was a bunch of like hair on it that I had to like blow off and get off of it, which I'm hoping was like pet hair and not someone's actual hair, because there was a lot of it. So it came back just gross. So, like I said, dude, like I get the, like I send this motherboard to them, right? It works with only one RAM stick in. I get it back from them, it doesn't work at all. And they showed me a screenshot of a BIOS that was not the same BIOS screen that this had when I sent it to them. It was an old BIOS screen. So now I'm on their ass. So, new update. This is going back to them in RMA, and he said, listen, since it's the second RMA request, they will call you before they send it back to you. Because I was like, here, listen, here's my situation, right? Like, this thing, even though it came back gross from them, it's still in pristine condition. It's only 6 months old, you know? I'm a college student. I need my PC. I'm not just doing this to try to get a brand new board out of you guys. Like, I genuinely need this computer. He was like, yeah, I understand. I was like, listen, my concern is I sent this to you guys once, and you guys said you didn't find anything. Not only that, you send me screenshots of a BIOS that's not the same BIOS screen that this had when I sent it to you, right? That's my second concern. And that's when he was like, listen, they'll call you. So I'm going to go ahead, RMA this thing again, and then I'm going to have to sit there and fucking argue with them if they try to tell me they can't find anything. So that's the update. I'll get back to you. Point being, PC is working now with a new motherboard, and I'm going to be on these guys' ass because they're fucking dead wrong.